Hello and welcome. I'm going to be doing Blogger from Proving Grounds, Offsite's Proving Grounds today. It's part of TJ Nulls list. It's one of the boxes on there. They've rated it easy. The community's rated it hard, and they've rated it hard for, well, I can only assume they've rated it hard for a few reasons. One being, some of it's, you kind of have to guess, doing some guessing, some educated guessing. But it's fantastic as far as like working through it, doing enumeration, enumeration counts, and all of that. There's several ways you can get from initial to, or I guess, yeah, get to initial after enumeration. So let's just start. Okay, so we're going to start off with the rustscan. Tech U --U limit 5000 -A for A record or address 192.168.227. That's wrong. It's not 227. It is 189. And then we're going to enter in tac -SC for enumerate or default scripts, SV enumerate versions. ON, we're going to put it in the nmap format, and then I'm going to call it nmap.md. What that's going to do is put it over here in this little folder. We actually are going to see, not folder, it's going to put it in this file in Obsidian, since Obsidian reads markdown files. I like that it didn't find anything open, which means that that's quite possibly not the IP. And yet it is. So let's start over. Let's ping it 192.168.189.217. Okay. There we go. I'm not sure what that was about. I formatted this nmap page, so we will see it update once the scripts come through. There it goes. So you can see that this is what it starts off with as it's running the scripts. You can see that I am in the same working directory as the nmap.md file is being saved, and therefore it's popping up in here, and I've sent it to open a new tab, and that's why it's overriding over here. I've then taken it and kind of cleaned it up just a little bit, because I think that it looks a little bit nicer. We clean it up and give it a color. I'm just going to put C, and then we'll edit this as well up top with the command. Make it nice and green. There we go. So in here, we can see that port 22 is open SSH, and we can also see that 80 are open. I can tell you that the first time that I went through all of this, I took a look at the page, but I also started running gobuster initially. Eventually, I kind of got tired of running gobuster and went ahead and did feroxbuster instead. Since it'll search recursively through the folders, and I don't have to continue to update the path. We'll go ahead and let this run. We'll let this run, and while it's running, we'll come back over through port 80 and just kind of look around. Ignore that I have burpsuite running right now. So looking through here, we can click on stuff. We see some fields. It looks like stuff has been removed. Just that. Test.com. And then I guess if we hover over, well, let's maximize this. We're gonna inspect and then submit. That doesn't do anything when we try to send a post request. Looking at all of these are just taking you to the different sections. Login is going to take you to register. If you try to enter in information, test at email.com, password. Kind of the same thing happens. We get nothing. It just sent you to the home page, the root directory. Let's go back and take a look at our rustscan. Just right off the bat, this is interesting. This is exceptionally interesting. WordPress admin. Let's go ahead and open that up. And let's duplicate this tab. Duplicate. Where is it? Images, blog, content, images, WP includes, WP content. Nice. So if we try to go to the admin page, we end up getting redirected to blogger.pg. Type blogger.pg. Which we can go ahead and add to our Etsy host file, just in case. I'm going to do that. Sudo nano Etsy hosts with our mistyped password. Might have done it again. I did. Is that because caps lock's on? Whoa. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. Blogger.pg. Let's do 192.168.189.217. Blogger.pg. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of that. Cool. So that did end up running, and through all that output, that was pretty much the only thing that we saw. We can do something like WPscan. Attack URL. I think we can do blogger.pg now. Blogger.pg, right? The website is up, but does not seem to be running WordPress, and that is because it's not. It's like in this odd directory, assets, fonts, blog. What is this mess? Cool. So this is going to go through and run. It's running version 4.9.8. It has some themes. No config files, no backups. There is an uploads directory. And inside of here, we can actually see information. There's like this magical reverse shell in here for some reason. And that kind of gives us a hint about what's going on. Now that to me could mean that I don't know if this is a shared environment, but that could mean that somebody else is on this and they've inadvertently leaked information to me, or maybe this is on there by default. But anyway, that's kind of interesting that we have this uploads directory. We'll hold on to that, and we will go through here. Let's add blogger.pg to it. HTTP blogger.pg. Okay. There we go. Now it's loading. We see an author of James. If we look at one of these, another way, I have Wapalizer. So we can see WordPress is 4.9.8. Themesy Poseidon, 2.4.18 Apache version. This is all great information. It's using MySQL database. This is all excellent, and PHP. All excellent information, and stuff that we would want to write down and keep in our notes. Moving forward, we see that we can write to this directory, and we can upload an image. Documents, Blogger, images. Grab a small image, this one. And let's capture this in burpsuite. This might not be something that you would start off looking for. And I guess I saw multiple exploits for this version of WordPress. Speaking of, where's this? I didn't see them here, however, but when I look up version 4.9.8, searchsploit WordPress 4.9, we see there's pretty large amount. User reg, privesc, authentication bypass, SQL injection, arbitrary file upload. There's another 4.9 point something. Arbitrary file deletion again, but you have to be authenticated. There's quite a bit more than this. This is a bad year for WordPress, apparently. Anyway, yeah, so I came off, wanted to see if maybe I could pull, like, I don't know, database or the config or something like that out with WordPress scan, WPscan. From there, I did more looking around, and eventually I just started to play around with the site. Try like path traversal with this. You can try remote file inclusion, local file inclusion, do things of that nature. We're going to actually need to delete this. I delete that. We're going to test this upload functionality with this file. Send that over to repeater, and then we'll send it on as well. And let's try some things. Let's see if it'll take. If we change the file to PHP and we send. It seems to have taken that. If that's the case, let's do something like this. phpinfo, PHP, and send it. And we get file type not allowed. We can take this and put it at the end of the file. Instead, we get file type not allowed. We can do, we can set this back to PNG. And we can try and send it, and we get a 200 OK. We still have our PHP info file. We don't get, oh no, we get not allowed. PNG. What is it not like now? File type not allowed. Does this work now? Does this? It doesn't work now. Change the attached image. Go back. PNG. Okay, so that's uploading again. Then we'll take our phpinfo information, stuff it in there in the middle, and then we can navigate to this address and see if it renders. Do it in this page. Oh. I think we're capturing in. Take me buttholes. This is not what I expected to see. Go back. Repeater. Send. Copy this. Let's see what happens. Big bunch of nothing. Okay. Let's remove all of this out of there. Let's send again. Let's see if it actually takes it. Okay, so it did take it. It didn't close PHP tag. That might be a problem. Okay, let's try this again. Let's look at the page. We almost got it. I didn't see, did it change? It is changing. PHP info. Am I wrong here? Did it take it? It took that as well. Oh, good lord. It's because it's continuing to show up as PNG. Okay. There we go. So we can change the file type. As long as it has the magic bytes, it appears to be working. If you're not familiar with magic bytes, we can go take a look at them. Magic bytes. And then while that's loading, we can go to this page. There we go. And so we get our PHP info page and proof. I mean, if we take a look here and we search for, we don't save. Search for PNG. If we were to take our file and add these with something like maybe hex edit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we create a buffer of 8 characters, 8 A's or something like that. And then you can go in and just edit it and set the magic bytes to something like PNG. It would accept it. It would accept the image without question. So from here, there are a few things that we could do. We can obviously, view PHP pages. We could do something like a web shell. If we wanted to do that way, I opted to do it a little bit differently. I came down and I see, the disabled functions, and I wanted to upload a script that I had created for another box. Let's see if I have it here. I'm going to pause because if I don't pause, this is going to spoil it. I'm going to pause real fast and pull the file into this directory. Cool. Okay. So here we go. So now we've got our PHP info function file. And basically what we're doing is we are taking all of these dangerous functions And we're saying for each function and functions, if the function exists, then echo this function is enabled. So basically what we're going to do is take this and upload this part of the code, and we should get back a list of these files that are exploitable. We can do, if you wanted to, so this came from a few things. Dangerous PHP functions. So there are all of these different functions that you can take and put into there, into that table. Make it search through them. However, there's another one here somewhere. Somebody else had a pretty good list, and I took a snippet of their code and then put it in there, and they made it just set the for each section so that it loops through each one individually, checking for it to see if it exists. But what we can do instead of getting the PHP info is import that. This should work. Let's hope that it does. It does. And what we're going to end up seeing are a list of dangerous functions that are enabled. Cool. So we have all of these. There are a few that stand out. System, exec, shell exec. God, all of these stand out. popen, proc open, symlink, syslog, all these things. So you could do it this way if you wanted to do this. And from there, you could do something like, let's go to refshells.com. We can sort through PHP. So what were some system, popen, proc open, popen, proc open, shell exec, system, exec, shell exec, system, popen, proc open. So there are many ways that we could get a reverse shell in this box. We could do it this way. Alternatively, we could do move wolf.php to here, ls. It is there. We can cat. Ugh, this is like going to be a lot of information. See if this works. We could open up, or we could push a web shell. Copy this. Let's see if this works. I did not try this route because I wanted to do the scripting route. I thought that was a little bit more fun. But let's see. This could have been easier, probably. Probably was easier. Yeah, cool. So we can just be like, who am I? And run into a problem. Resend the information. Come on. Okay, well, I'm not sure why this worked, but this is something that we could do. We could upload a web shell and go that route. It died. Ping. This is still active. We could use something more simple if we wanted to, but instead, what we can do is come back. We can take something like the proc open command here with our just bin shell, our IP, here, 45160, 9001 for the port. I'm gonna do something like open up netcat in LVP 9001. Start our listener. Head back over into burpsuite and input our reverse shell into here. There we go. We can go ahead and send this, and then we'll copy the page. We'll take a look at our listener that we have going. It hasn't received any kind of connection yet because we haven't navigated to the page in order to trigger reverse shell. Come back, we get it, we get who we are, we're data, and that is one way to go about this. Alternatively, we could have used pretty much any of these functions that were that are exploitable, that are allow for reverse shells. I did try popen and it kept dying. The shell kept dying, so I went with proc open instead, which is perfectly fine. You know, whatever works, whatever method gets you to where you need to go. But now we can do something like which Python 3 taxi import pty.spawn. We'll get a full TTY here. And bash. There we go. And then we'll background it with Control Z. We'll do scty raw semicolon foreground. Enter, and export term equal to xterm. That's going to allow us to clear the screen. Oh, why does it look like that? No. Oh, I do not like that. That looks kind of goofy. Let's get the shell back. We'll do RL wrap this time. RL wrap netcat 9001. Give that back. There we go. Python 3 tac-m tac-c import pty dot spawn and bash. There we go. Okay. Export term equal to xterm. Now we can clear. I wonder why it's not printing out the whole line. There we go. Maybe it's because the file path was too long. So from here, we would do like some manual enumeration. We can do something like, let's clear that back out. We can cat etsy past wd, and then we'll grep for the word sh. And this will return users that have a shell. We can see root. You have to ignore the sshd account. So bash, vagrant, ubuntu, James Brunner. So we have a few users that we can look at. Let's go and look at James first. Home, James ls, and then we have no SSH directory here, but we do have a local.txt, which is excellent. We can do cd up. Let's move up a directory into Ubuntu, ls-la, and we see SSH folder, but we can't read it. We can't get into the directory. Let's check vagrant. Same kind of situation with vagrant, cd.ssh, we get permission denied. Anyway, we can clear that out, move back into the root directory and do some more. I'm looking around. Let me set up this alias. Alias ll equals ls-la. There we go. That makes my life a little bit easier. So I like to look at a few places. Somewhere that we might start off looking is opt ls-la. I guess I can just do ll. Anyway, we can see that there's this file in here. It's called creds. If we cat.creds, we end up getting this really long credential. Or what I'm assuming is a credential. We can do stat ANO. Scroll back up. 3306, 22. This is us. There's port 80. So there's a MySQL server. So we can do something like MySQL tac u root tac p, and then try to enter that in. Access denied for root user. Trying to use this password. We could try to su as James. Switch user as James. That looks kind of messed up, doesn't it? Yeah, su James. There we go. We can try su Ubuntu. Su. And same for vagrant. With no luck. So let's go ahead and do something like uname tac a and get the kernel version. I will tell you that I did try to look this up, searchsploit, because a lot of these free boxes end up having, I don't know, kernel exploits that you have to run in order to gain or escalate privileges. So I did give this a try, only to find out that we couldn't compile it. It doesn't just a compiler on the box. Anyway, so I had to use this previously in the past for the same exact version. And so I figured I would give it a shot and see if this was the escalation path, only to find out ultimately that I could not run it. Eventually, I var ls. Let me close that out. ls cd into www ls. WordPress. cd web fonts. Nothing in there. Log cat wp config.php. We'll go through and look for config files. And in here we see the MySQL username and password. So let's do that. MySQL tac u root tac p. We log in. That's not the command I wanted to run, but that's okay. Show databases. Use WordPress. Show tables. Select all from wp_users. And we get back a hash for James, which is pretty cool, right? Right. Get a hash back for James. Nano hash. Just pop it in there. XY enter. We try John hash. Word list. This is a ph hash file. Peach pass file. Peach pass. format, whatever. Anyway, I will let you know before I waste a bunch of time and resources again that Rocky doesn't crack it. Like the 10 million password word list doesn't crack it. I couldn't crack this with the word lists that I have. I ended up taking it out of the VM and trying to crack it on my host machine. But it is pretty cool. You know, we do have credential files here and things of that nature. Eventually, an alternative to this is that you can upload linps, and I think that I actually have it in here. Yeah, let's cat peas.md. So here's a copy of linps that I ran on here. And I did that after I went through all this enumeration, because like, man, surely there's something, and you can see it pulling out the MySQL password and files. Let's see, some things that I thought looked interesting in here initially. There was this backup .sh/ls.la, this, and we can see it's owned by root. We can read it, and it does this, but it doesn't supply the full path here for tar. So if we could escalate to James, if we were able to escalate to the James or write to the James directory, my bet is that there is like a cron job or something of that nature that's running every once in a while. It's running as the root user, and it's backing up into the temp directory. But what we could have done here is create a file called tar. And essentially, what I would have done if I would have gone this path, and if this worked, if I could write to this directory, what I would have done is probably just do something like, I don't know, bash, I don't know, chmod u plus x s u plus s bin bash. I would have set the setuid bit on bash. That way I could just bash #p and get in there. ls. So if we look in here, we can see the backup file. If we gunzip backup.tar and then cat backup.tar, we are actually just getting the local.txt file. So that's interesting, right? I mean, we could have gone it this way. Obviously, we can make our way into James's directory and see something like that. Eventually, I just tried to do stuff like su James, su Ubuntu, su vagrant, and that actually ends up working. If you are wondering why that works, let's go and take a quick look at vagrant. Default password. Vagrant user. It is general convention to set the password for the vagrant user to vagrant. Yeah, so the default password is actually vagrant. If you look here in this Stack Overflow, they end up saying the same thing, I believe. I don't know why the hell it's taking so long. I don't feel like waiting. Voice crack. Anyway, so let's get back to it. We can ls.la, and we can see in here. Well, actually, let's move into home vagrant ls.la. cd.ssh ls.la. So we could end up we could have put our own keys in here and SSH to it. But if we do something like sudo tac-l, we see that we can run literally everything. So we sudo bash, and then we are root. ID, hostname, ifconfig. So here's all the proof that we could possibly need, that we are who we say that we are. And then if we cd over into root, we can get the proof.txt, cat proof.txt, and there we go. There's our proof. So this is, or this was, Blogger from Proving Grounds. Again, they rated it easy, and the community has rated it hard. And it's hard for a few reasons. When you're going through, you do go through like your normal passive enumeration, right? Like, something I did when I went through it the first time, but I didn't end up doing this time. Well, let me actually exit out of this. Exit out of this. Yeah. So now I'm back to deb. So I went for find perm-u equal to s type f, and then we'll send errors to devnull. So I looked for setuid bits, and there's some non-default things in here that are interesting and worth taking a look at. And I did take a look at them. And then of course I went through GTFO bins, to see if we could find any of these that had the ability to escalate privileges with the suid bit, the sticky bit set. Could not find anything. Obviously, you saw that that's because the path to escalation was the administrator never changed the vagrant password. Therefore, sometimes we try to overcomplicate things, and really we should really just keep things simple. If we try to keep things simple, a lot of the time we'll probably end up where we want to be, which is obviously root. If you learned something in this video, excellent. Please make sure to hit the like button. If you like me, then subscribe. See you in the next one.